All right, what a game we just watched. So Spurs Timberwolves just concluded. If you didn't watch it, man, you missed a thriller, especially at the end of the game there. At halftime, you would have thought this game would have been over. Spurs were up handily. 80. They were at halftime. The score was 44-69. Spurs were up by 25, but man, they turned it around in the second half. Instant reaction right now, Rob. What do you think?
Man, too close. For comfort at the end. Up 25. I think the one thing that Spurs fans have probably gotten tired of this season is blowing big leads in the third quarter. And
Yeah.
it turned itself into it again. I think the Spurs looked amazing to finish the second. Hit a lot of shots, and then I think kind of the same as what you saw in Minnesota when the Timberwolves beat the Spurs last week was.
That's kind of how it felt, like the same type of game.
They just came out aggressive. I think they've got a game plan where they want to come out and be really aggressive on Wemby, and they've looked to switch Randall over there. Today they didn't have Gobert. They started Behringer in his place, or at least he got playing time, with Naz Reid going out early. And he's young, athletic, plays on the French national team. So it looks like, Randall and them have been – the more physical they've been, it's looked to have been effective for Wemby. Ant went crazy tonight and just hit everything that he put up. And both teams, I think, in the second, you had the Spurs outscoring the Timberwolves 48-22, and then you had the reversal in the third where the Timberwolves outscored the Spurs 40-27. Before they kind of kept pace there in the fourth quarter. Then it came down to free throws, and the Spurs just did not put it away. I think they had a couple of moments to put it away with free throws and could not do it. And even at the end, gave Ant one last chance. I think everybody probably held their breath as he threw up that three-quarters court shot.
Free throws were a big problem for the Spurs. Do you happen to have the what was – like, how many did they shoot? How many did they miss? Because it seemed like they missed. It seemed like half. Like they missed some free throws.
So the Spurs shot 61%. They were 17 of 28. Timberwolves shot 89%, 25 of 28, and kind of a flip flop. You could see how aggressive the Timberwolves were becoming. The first half, I think it was the Spurs had hit 10 out of 15 free throws. Had shot 15 to the Timberwolves shooting 3. Second half, Timberwolves. I think going into the fourth, shot 15 just in the third quarter alone. So you could see the aggressiveness. Julius Randle was making it a point to attack. He didn't shoot well from the field, but he hit 13 free throws there in the third. And I think that kind of sullied the game up a little bit from where the Spurs wanted to run, and it became a half court game, and then you're shooting free throws back and forth. Spurs another kind of less than impressive shooting night. I think overall they shot 50% from the field, but 39 from 3, 15 of 38. Timberwolves weren't much better. They shot 41% from 3 and then 47% from the field. But the Timberwolves, I think what's been their season has been free throws and not shooting well. So to see them shoot 89% was probably great for Chris Finch. They've usually shot a lot better. I think they lead the league in field goal percentage overall for it. So
couple of storylines here. Well, I mean, a couple of things that I noticed, especially, we just talked about free throws. So obviously the Spurs struggled. Wemby's one of their more solid free throw shooters. He's a knockdown free throw shooter. At the end of the game, you saw it there with the game on the line. The Spurs are up 3. He has one more free throw to shoot. There's 4 seconds left. He intentionally misses it for some reason. He gets a lane violation, and then Minnesota gets the ball back with a chance to tie it up when he could just easily just make the shot, make it a 4-point game with 4 seconds left, and it's essentially over. Do you think that was strategy by Mitch Johnson, or was that kind of just Wemby winging it there on the fly, just not really thinking it through? That was insane.
I think that's a young star thinking that he's being smart at the end of a game. 1.3 on the clock, I think it was. He hits a free throw, game's over.
Overthinking.
Timberwolves had no timeouts left, so essentially he gave them the ability to stop play and get a shot, and they didn't get a good one, right? Like Ant chucked it with a second left. You would think that they'd want to get something run, or they'd have something in the arsenal for it. So they get lucky on that. I think, yeah, go hit your free throw. I mean, before that though, you got Julian Champagny missing 2 free throws, and really the only reason we then make it from that is you've got Wemby with offensive rebound off the free throw, and then goes and hits the first. And right before that, he missed a technical free throw, I think at 14 seconds left. They call a tech on Chris Finch coming out of the timeout.
Yeah,
Wemby gets a free throw, could have put them up 4, misses it, and then you get Ant that comes in and gets to score again. So big-time game. I mean, you love seeing 2 of, arguably top 6 players probably in the NBA battling it back and forth and just wanting the show. And I think that's what makes them both great is they want to shine in the big moments. And pretty incredible. And, like the Spurs are no sluggish team on defense. So to see Ant going off like that and kind of shooting over everybody. I mean, Stephon Castle had the job most of the night. He fouled out in the fourth quarter. So, he gave him fits.
I think out of all the players on the Wolves, Ant was probably the most fresh because he actually didn't play last night in Houston.
Yeah.
So he came out just – I don't know. In that fourth quarter, it just seemed like every time he touched the ball, that ball was going in, and he knew it was going. And the Spurs also knew it was going in also. Yeah. So it was just crazy to see him just kind of go on a heater like that and just make every single thing. And that was kind of like an moment for the Spurs, but they were able to kind of hang in there. I noticed in the first quarter, Ant looked a little frustrated with officiating. I think in the end, everybody was frustrated with officiating. It was just, it was rough. It was rough.
It was a tough game to watch in the second half at some points because a lot of the, probably last 8 minutes of the third were both teams in the bonus and a drive and a foul, and you just switch it around each time. So it took a little bit out of the game. I think when you got to like the last 6 minutes of the fourth, that's when you just saw like shot making. I think that's what was so impressive. Like Ant not only was scoring, like he was hitting tough shots, and he's a tough shot maker, but he hit some, incredible pull-ups. He wants to get to, get to the right. He wants to stop and pop for 3. And he did an amazing job, like hitting that. So I think it's still I've got him at 58 points is what they had him at on 33 shots.
58.
Which, I think just like really incredible percentage, obviously off of what he's doing. I think I can get the actual score there. 19 of 33, 9 of 16 from 3.
Wow.
To go along with 4 rebounds and 3 assists. But just incredible play for him. Again, they're without Rudy Gobert in that. Wemby seemed, I wanted to see how many minutes he played. So Wemby played 31 minutes.
Wow. That's probably the most he's played since last year.
That's up. So I think he was set at 26 to 28. So I wonder if there's a pull there. Wemby 12 of 23 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3. So another like really good shooting game from 3, especially coming off of what he did against Memphis. Against Milwaukee. De'Aaron Fox though, 37 minutes, 25 points, 10 to 17 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, which is a really solid sign for him after how he shot. Recently, I think he had a couple or shot at least 50% from 3 also against Milwaukee. So he's looked really good the last couple games. I think they've had aggression. Stephon Castle hurts. 2 for 8 from 2 of 8 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3-point line. Fouled out. I think you're guarding Ant though. It's a tough assignment, tough matchup for you for them. And then I think he called it out in the beginning. Naj Reid went out early in the first quarter and got hurt, but. They threw in Behringer, rookie for them, and I thought he played really, really well. I think he disrupted a lot of stuff on the offensive end, had some good offensive rebounds, and finished with 10 points with not a lot of playing time this season. So I thought he looked good. Again, just another really, really fun game for everybody. So
yeah, I mean Wemby, he had 39 points, and he had 20 in the second quarter alone. Which would be a big deal if Ant didn't have 26 in the fourth. So, it was just kind of like a tale of two halves, but the Spurs were able to just pull it out there. It was obviously a big win. the narrative would probably be a lot different if the Spurs lost to the Wolves again
Yeah,
at
yeah.
and here. I guess that kind of saves them there. So um, I
I
think
think this though, right? I think the way people talked about the Spurs and Thunder, I don't think the Wolves do not seem afraid of the Spurs at all. I think where you
you
watch
can
games against Spurs Thunder and they seemed um a little out of it. I think the Wolves in their mind, right? Like I think you take something good for this. Nobody wants a to talk about it as a loss, but like you came back from down 25, you're missing your, defensive player of the year as your center. You're playing, you then get your other center who goes out early. Huge game from your guy. Probably the biggest thing, right? Like bench points. I think San Antonio 39-17 over the Wolves in bench points. And that's been something they struggle with. I mean, you saw guys who rarely play, like John Juzang playing. Obviously, Behringer doesn't play a lot. Conley had a lot of minutes this game and went 0 for 4. So I think like there's still confidence from that team there. I think the Spurs, obviously, this is when you want to get after blowing a lead in Minnesota. I think they'll meet one more time probably, at least. But I mean, at least now it's 2-1. The Spurs have over them on the season series, or the Wolves have over them. So I think it's, you can still pull some great things from it if you're Chris Finch. For the Spurs, yeah, you just don't want to see yourself lose that lead again. And you've got Utah coming up on Monday. Like that's a team that came in and blew you out at home. Like you've got to go and get a win now.
all right. It was a physical game. There's one player I'm interested about from hearing from you is, since it was a physical game, Sohan. He's a physical guy. 0 minutes. What do you think the play is on him? I know the trade deadline's coming up here pretty soon. Is there something about going on behind the scenes with Sohan, or is he just is this just where we're at with him?
I think the teams that have had success against the Spurs are running a zone. And I think as the Spurs have struggled with shooting from the outside, and a ton of them have, I just think like you're still running into it where like Jeremy Sohan just doesn't fit in that piece. I'd love to see Sohan open up at the free throw line extended and get the ball and kind of play make from there. But I just think like teams are just not, like they're not going to guard him when they're in this zone. And the zone is giving the Spurs fits all season, right? I think like you saw the Rockets is one of the first teams that did it to him. Then you saw like the Thunder kind of adopt that approach and they played well against that. But they played a lot of zone tonight without Rudy Gobert in there in the middle. And at times, like it really helped them, right? Like the Spurs were playing 5 out. And they struggled at getting somebody in the middle of the zone to break it. I do think though, like there's a ton of games, like when you have those moments and kind of the stretches where you can't score, I think you get a physical bruiser in there like Sohan, and he can give you something for it, right? Like Randall. I thought about the game in Minnesota that I went to, and how many offensive rebounds Julius Randle got, and I just thought, man, like I bet you those would be things like Jeremy Sohan would soak up and not allow. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So on the Spurs side, I think like Harper didn't play very well tonight. Yeah, Stephon Castle with an off night. So again, I think for both teams, there's stuff you can look at that's going to say, hey, we didn't even play our best basketball and we got a W, or we lost by 3 to a team that was blowing us out at one point and we didn't have some of our players. So I think the jury's still out on, but I think it'd be an amazing series in the playoffs. So
all right. Well, I mean, Minnesota lost tonight, but they should have a get right game coming up. I think they play Utah on Tuesday. Spurs actually play Utah also on Monday. So
wow.
These two teams back to back. So both teams should be okay, just to kind of rest up and go into that game and hopefully get a W for both. But it was a thriller. Well fought.
That was a great one. Another good one from